Hello, everyone. A few days before the start of the England-India 5-test series in England, there was a controversy regarding the rebranding of the Pataudi Trophy to the Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy. Well, that controversy hasn't died down as yet. So, a few more tidbits for you to ponder over, chew over. So, let's just recap that the trophy was rebranded, and as of now, no one really knows how this was actually done. Who suggested it? What was the process that was followed? Who had their input into it? Which committees sat down to decide if this was a good idea or not? What names were considered? And why, in the first place, was the Pataudi name downgraded? What was the need for this? So there was a lot of unanswered questions. We haven't had any further input into this. No one's taking the credit for this, which is surprising. But anyway, at the end of the day, the trophy was rebranded. Now, one of the most vocal critics, and there were a number of critics who openly displayed their displeasure, of course, including the Pataudi family. But one of the most vocal critics was Sunil Gavaskar, one of the most highly respected people in world cricket, one of the finest opening batsmen of all time, and an ex-India captain, a World Cup winner, and one of the finest, media and respected cricketing experts out there. And he was an open critic of this change in the legacy, and his words were, "This is the first time one has heard of a trophy named after individual players being retired. It shows a total lack of sensitivity to the contribution made by the Pataudis to cricket in both England and India. Remember, Iftikhar Ali Khan Pataudi played for both England and India. And of course, the legacy of his son, Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, is legendary." He goes on to say, Mr. Gavaskar, "There may well be a new trophy named after more recent players. And here's hoping that if an Indian player has been approached, he will have the good sense to politely decline." So Gavaskar's view were quite clear that the trophy should not be renamed, and if an Indian player is approached, then he should politely decline. Well, it so happened that an Indian player was approached, and that, of course, was Sachin Tendulkar, who did not politely decline. Instead, his reaction was that the first thing I did was I picked up the phone and I called the Pataudi family to firstly tell them that, look, hang on, while the trophy will be named after me, and I gratefully accept that honor, I'm going to make sure that something will be done to preserve your legacy. Well, thank you very much. And I believe there will be some kind of a medal that will be named after the Pataudi family. But the trophy, the series, will be rebranded as the Tendulkar Anderson Trophy. And that's the reality and the story. And of course, we all know that at the end of the day, these days, commercial interests, rank much higher than tradition, than cricketing decisions. Anyway, let's move on. So now what's happened? Now that the dust has settled over this, what has happened? Well, Mr. Gavaskar now has waded into the battle once again, but this time from a slightly different angle. Now, what is Mr. Gavaskar's point? He says that James Anderson is nowhere near as good as Sachin Tendulkar as a cricketer and as an achiever, and therefore how can his name be put alongside Sachin Tendulkar's? Tendulkar is way above him, so how can the both of them sit together? That's Mr. Sunil Gavaskar's point. And he says, not only is Sachin Tendulkar, along with Kapil Dev, the greatest Indian cricketer, but also senior to Anderson by more than a dozen years. He that is Sachin Tendulkar, is numero uno as far as runs and centuries are concerned in Test cricket, which is true. But also at the one-day level too, he has more runs than anyone else. Anderson is third in the list of wicket takers in Test cricket, and his record is nowhere as good as Tendulkar in one-day cricket. Mr. Gavaskar then goes on to say, look, the ECB is fully entitled to call the series by any name. But for most, if not all Indian cricket lovers, it is jarring to know that Anderson's name comes first. Right? And then Mr. Gavaskar goes on to say, Tendulkar is also part of a World Cup winning team, which Anderson has not been. So by all accounts, Tendulkar's name should come first. That is Sunil Gavaskar's point. That James Anderson is nowhere near Sachin Tendulkar, and their names on the trophy is a complete mismatch. Okay. And then in a final stab at the ECB, he says that this argument that they are going by the letters of the alphabet, where the letter A comes before the letter T, is such a lame one. Here his point is that, okay, now that you've named the trophy, the Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy, it should be Tendulkar's name that should come first and Anderson's name that should come second. So it should not be the Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy, it should be the Tendulkar-Anderson Trophy, because of Tendulkar's seniority over James Anderson, both in terms of age as well as in terms of achievements. So the saga continued for a while, it continues, and now we wait with bated breath to see what comes next. At the end of the day, all of this is so unnecessary. Should not have happened in the first place. Why did it happen? We don't know. Till next time.